Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today we are going over the final patch notes, changes, and everything there is to know about the Division 2's new season called Shades of Red, launching tomorrow. So earlier today we already recapped and went over the developer stream that went down, where they gave a lot of new details, including the fact that we're getting a new exotic that wasn't previewed before, a bunch of other stuff. So if you missed that and you want to check that out before we go over this news, I will link that in the upper corner and down in the description. But given how many changes have already gone through this update's lens specifically when it comes to the PTS and all the balancing changes that are on the way, I wanted to do one final recap and breakdown of what is coming to the game tomorrow so that you know what's going on when you log in. So without further ado, let's get right to it. Alright, and here we are on the Division 2's official website. They have posted this article, Year 6 Season 2, Shades of Red. So we have these patch notes to go over, as well as two final balancing lists on the Known Issues board. All three of these resources will be linked down in the description. There is a guarantee that I will give you right now that I can't get into every single detail through all of these things. It would take us hours. So whether you want to scrub it over for yourself or you just want to be able to have a reference for when the stuff goes in the game tomorrow, those links down there will be very important so that you can easily access them. But let's get to it, starting with this main article right here. Year 6 Season 2 Shades of Red is marking the start of a new seasonal journey. With Aaron Keener in custody at the White House, he aims to strike a deal with the Division. Before agents can learn what he knows, they have to secure the other members of Keener's team, starting with Theo Parnell. So brew that Kerman coffee, grab a seat, and let's dive into everything that Season 2 has in store. Again, many of these individual sections we have covered in either past videos for the PTS, we covered it this morning in the dev stream recap, all of that stuff, but we'll still overview it here and just give a general idea of what's happening. So, Seasons 2.0, we of course had the seasonal journey. This is an image from the season trailer, which gives us a good overview of the journey tier here, where you get rewards for doing these individual objectives. You level up, you'll get some of the modifiers from here, all of that stuff. So the season journey introduced a structured progression system with 7 sequential missions, each containing 8 objectives. And it's good to know that this is available from level 1, right? You can start doing this well before the end game, and so it's a pretty cool way to onboard players and get them familiar with some of the game's mechanics. You can get all of these following rewards from it, and there will also be a unique cosmetic item at the very end of the track when you reach Journey Tier, when you complete Journey Tier 7. We then have seasonal modifiers here. Again, we've done a whole thing breaking all of this down, but we have all the different types. So the global modifier is the main one that sets the theme of the season. Your active modifiers then, as they say here, function like ultimate abilities, so those are pretty cool. Passive modifiers, you get a whole tree of those. You can pick 3 of them to slot in, which further modify how your gameplay functions. And the hostile modifiers affect enemies and give you additional challenges in gameplay. And very important to note again, as they say right here, that the modifier system can be disabled at any time and it is mutually exclusive with global events, so you can choose whether or not you're playing with the modifiers, with the global events, or none of them altogether. It's totally up to you. Moving on, we then have priority objectives. Again, we've taken plenty of a look at this already, but they're short little gameplay objectives that you can do infinitely. It says right here, there's no limit to how many you can take on, but they do reward you good items like exotics, like they say right here, XP, Season Pass XP, a bunch of stuff. So this will certainly be a system that I see a lot of people interacting with to get a lot of those quick rewards. Moving on to Manhunt Scouts. Again, this is the new system for story delivery. We're moving on from the once a month drop. We now have weekly story beats to go through. And the way it works is that there are 3 activities per scout. For each different activity, you get a little reward there. And then once all the activities in the scout are completed, you receive a bigger reward, including a unique collectible. And although these drop weekly, they do still store up. You can do them at any time you want while the season is active. But it does say that you do need to still do them sequentially, regardless of however many you've done so far. And doing these scouts is the way that you unlock the new Master Difficulty Climax mission, right? The new difficulty tier that we have coming to the game. So they're going to be pretty integral if you want to take part in all that for this season. Alright, then we have gear, weapons, and talents. This season introduces 2 new named weapons and several new talents, along with a new gear set and brand set. Exotic collectors can look forward to a new exotic assault rifle, an exotic holster, and an exclusive exotic chest piece. This is the one that we learned about just today, awarded for completing the climax mission. So, firstly, we have the Striga, and as they announced on stream, they have reverted this to its original talent iteration in PTS Phase 1, so it has the 20-meter range, which is awesome, with 15% amplified damage per stack. They still did tweak out those bugs that it had, so it probably won't be quite as performative as it was there, but it should be quite good, and I'm very excited to get my hands on this one. We then have the Centurion Scabbard, which we have also covered many times. In PvE, it gives you those bonuses upon swapping, so you kind of get alternating buffs back and forth, and then PvP, it does have a modifier on it, which is great. I think this should temper its power, but still make it quite strong. It also does have a slightly shorter duration in PvP compared to PvE. And that's the look for right there. We then get the new gear. We've covered the Virtuoso gear set, how it deals with weapon swapping, and not swapping rather, but different ranges. So you ideally want to have 2 weapons of different classes so you can deal with those different ranges. and you can read all the details here of the various bonuses and damage that you get. The amplification talent on the chest piece doubles the weapon damage bonuses, so you do have a pretty high ceiling there if you're able to play to the bonus. And then the backpack talent reduces the amount of kills you need from 4 to 3. We then have the new brand set here, Legatus, which gives you 30% swap speed for the 1 piece, 70% optimal range for the 2, and 15% weapon damage for the 3. It comes with 2 named variants as always. That includes Perfect Versatile on the Vigil backpack with all those things there, and then a new perfected mask called Visionario with 50% optimal range. If we move down here, this is a look at what the gear set looks like. This is also the outfit for the gear set that'll be on the season pass, so we get a little preview there. They say you can obtain the Virtuoso gear set through seasonal caches, progressing through the final 3 chapters of the seasonal journey, or by exploring the open world. It can also be farmed through targeted loot for those looking to complete their set. So it seems like they might be changing a bit of how you get it compared to past seasons, where you would always get guaranteed items of that on the season pass. It looks like now they're redistributing that a little bit to go through the caches, through the journey, and through open world and targeted loot. Obviously, targeted loot is still going to be probably the easiest and quickest way to get it if you want to make a build with it day one, but there you go. Those are some of the details there. New named weapons, we've covered these because the new base talent is called Precision Strike, so killing enemies farther than 20 meters builds up stacks. Max stack is 3, and then once you hit an enemy within 20 meters, all of those stacks will be used to provide 20% amp damage to enemies within 20 meters for 5 seconds. You have the perfected version on a GR9 and a Carbine 7 variant that gives you 15% additional damage. Alright, then we get to the new difficulty tier called Master. The Master Climax mission introduces a brand new difficulty level exclusive for Manhunt Climax missions. This level is designed for the most hardcore players seeking an extra challenge. Expect tougher enemy scaling and the inclusion of seasonal modifiers that will push your skills to the limit. Those who rise to the occasion will be rewarded with special bonuses, such as additional XP, high-quality loot, resources, in-game currencies, and unique vanity items. Additionally, successfully completing the Master Climax mission grants players the exotic chess piece Provocator as a special reward. And they give us the talent right here. So we saw the artwork or the design for it on stream, which I think this thing looks sick. Very cool and bold design. But the talent right here is called Challenger. Receive 35% damage resistance from enemies within 15 meters. So that's a talent for sure. This very well has the chance to break the game. I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm sure it'll be fine in the grand scheme. I see this being a go-to item in PvP. I don't see how you could not always run this item in PvP. I mean, it does have a 15-meter limit, and by using this, you can't stack it with stuff like Unbreakable or Glass Cannon, but I'm already seeing flashes of how strong this thing is going to be. So that's a wild talent. I am really glad that they're giving Master these kinds of rewards, like a very worthwhile exotic, unique vanity items. I'm really excited for what this is going to bring to the game, so that's a sneak peek of what we got coming there. That's going to be crazy. Under reworks and updates, again, we've talked about what's happening with Sledgehammer. They are reducing its amount of damaged armor that you get, but it will still apply to your entire team. They made that change after PTS feedback. And the Mosquito pistol now also has a damage to armor functionality added to its talent. So if you use the two in combination, you should get more than you did before. You just have to time that up right so that people are activating those buffs at the same time. Of course, we have the change where the following rifles and marksmans will become fully automatic. Very excited for this one. I know a lot of you are as well. So this is the full final breakdown right there. And they say for a detailed breakdown of the balancing adjustments made to weapons, talents, gear sets, brand sets, exotics, please visit our known issues board, which we will take a look at very shortly. They've updated the loot pool so that you now have some additional ways to get named items from specific missions. So I won't go through this entire list, but you can read right here. If you're looking for any of these specific named items and you want a bit of a more reliable way to try and get it, feel free to try and run these missions and see what your luck holds. Down here under Other, we have a few bug fixes. It looks like they have increased general performance on PC, so that's nice. Balaclavas now conceal players' ears, allowing for better fitting designs and a more realistic appearance. That's neat. I know people love their balaclava, so hopefully that's a good one there. This is a big one that wasn't really highlighted, and I should have done more in the PTS to highlight it, but they've moved the chest, backpack, gloves, and knee pad appearance mods from the inventory modding menu to its own specific spot in the apparel menu. So the apparel menu will now have a whole second tab like down below, and that's where you can apply the skins that we've gotten for stuff like backpacks and chest pieces, right? And I'm hoping this sorts out the bug where that like overrides your exotic look and your other looks now that it's in its own dedicated spot. I'm not sure. We'll test that tomorrow. But yeah, this is a cool new feature that was in the PTS that didn't really get spotlight much, so if you didn't know this was coming, keep an eye out for that. They've updated the recurring projects pool for all level 40 players. I wonder if this is in an effort to unify them, as a lot of people were getting different ones depending on if you ran through Warlords or not, but I guess we'll find out. And they also fixed an exploit that allowed for players to earn double-digit scavenging points. Alright, they talk about the new friend referral program here. They also previewed this in the stream, including looks at the new outfits, because how it's going to work now when it relaunches on October 31st is that there will be incentives not only for the new people joining the game, but the veterans who are inviting them also get their own outfit. And so yeah, the Insurgent uniform and backpack were featured on the stream, and if you want to peek at those, feel free to check out the video I did earlier. Alright, then we have the Season Pass. The optional Season Pass is available to all players at level 1, right? So you can also start building this at level 1 now. It's not just an endgame exclusive thing. As always, the premium side will be priced at 1,000 premium credits. They do say here that additionally players can opt for the Premium Plus option available for 3,000 credits, which bundles the Premium Season Pass with multiple rewards, offering even greater value. I don't know what is in Premium Plus. That's certainly an interesting proposition, but we will check that out tomorrow. And again, this is the main outfit that you get for the Virtuoso stuff there. And they say for this time, there will be 10 gear dies, 10 weapon dies, 2 outfits, and 2 new Prestige arm patches. I'm not sure what a Prestige arm patch is, but could that be the thing from the crafting bench that we saw all those months ago? Potentially. That'll be interesting. And they did confirm this on the stream that now the Premium Pass for the season passes will give you premium credits back, right? So you do get a portion of your money back if you do decide to spend on the premium side. That's nice. That's always a good player-centric thing for them to do, so I'm glad to see that. And they did say as well, there will be cosmetics on the free side as well. It's not just on the premium end. They confirm here that there's a new one-time offer coming for $20 USD or your regional equivalent, and it includes 2,000 credits, 600 bonus credits, and this new exclusive mask. So keep an eye out for that in the store if you are at all interested. And they conclude there. That is the brief completed and the intel shared for all the events and content we have coming for Year 6 Season 2 Shades of Red. You can track stuff over on the Known Issues board. Link for that is always in my video descriptions if you need it. They say the annual winter holiday celebrations are returning to the Division 2 this December, bringing with them festive themed cosmetics and new surprises. Stay tuned for more information as we get closer to the event. Alright, so that is the main patch notes for Year 6 Season 2. Again, this will be linked in the description below. And what I wanted to then quickly do before we sign off is also peek at these 2 cards that we saw on the Known Issues board. There are 2 different balancing things, which mostly just go over the final changes and implementations that we're going to see in-game after all of the PTS feedback. So again, because we've already covered so much of this and tested it ad nauseum, I'm not going to directly talk about each and everything here. But again, all of this will be linked down below if you want to see it. This is the breakdown for assault rifles and each of the different weapon classes because they're all getting rebalanced. You can see green is buff, red is nerf. They're doing changes to damage, rate of fire, mag size, reload speed, optimal range. So again, every weapon class you can see here is getting specific changes, so feel free to check those out. We've talked about how weapon mods are all getting almost universally buffed. There's a few decreases to the one that already had negatives to them. I believe these are all just about the same. I'd have to go through and look, but they should be about what we saw on PTS Phase 2, so that's all there. Gear talents are getting changed. Again, I believe most of these are exactly the same as we saw them in the PTS patch notes, so Gunslinger, Entrenched, Connected Momentum. Obliterate is brought back up to 20. It was originally 17, so they have raised that back up a bit. That's nice. We got all that stuff there. Gear attributes are getting changed. Right here we have weapon talents, Eyeless, Breadbasket, Fast Hands going down a bit, Killer, bunch of stuff there. So that is the page 1 here for all of those changes. Then if we skip on over to page 2, they dive into some of the gear sets here. Again, we've taken a look at Hardwired specifically. That's all the same. Aegis Heartbreaker is now down to 1.1. It was originally 1.3, I want to say in Phase 1, but they've changed that a little bit. Aces is still the same. Rifles now work with it. It's also getting rifle damage on the 2P, so that's great. Breaking Point going up to 7.2 on the backpack. Negotiator's gone up to 100 on the backpack. 112, I should say, was previously at 100. Ongoing Directive is keeping its pretty hefty buff, which is nice. Won't affect PvP, though. That's a good distinction to make. Striker, they have increased by a little bit. It is now 0.9 on the backpack talent instead of 0.85 from the original nerf proposition. That is down from 1% in the current live game. And Umbra retains its buff, but again, this won't affect PvP, which I think is pretty good. Similar to the weapons, we also have changes to brand sets here. These full charts, feel free to take a look at. They have decreased some of the nerfs that were coming, like Seska was originally going to be 6.5% crit chance, that's now 8, so they've done some walkbacks there, but for the most part, the general patterns are staying the same, but buffs and nerfs. And then we have exotic weapons down here. Again, we've looked at so many of these. The Bighorn, the Elmos is getting its crit mods reduced slightly. The EB is getting up. Chameleon, Lady Death, Backfire. So many things here that we're going to have to look at and test out. And similarly to all of the rest, you have the charts here for the exotic balancing if you want to see how those specifically are getting impacted. So there you go. And then for exotic gear, the Catharsis is getting a buff. But that should just about do it, folks. That is all of the patch notes information that there is for Year 6 Season 2, which again is arriving to the game tomorrow. All three of these things, the main patch notes and the 2 balancing sheets, will be linked in the description, and I highly encourage you to bookmark those, use them as a resource once the update is live so you can refer to what was, what is now, and start making those builds, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to go through, as we can see from all of these changes. Let me know your thoughts. As I said, there were so many different details and things here to look over. I'd be curious to know what you think about the talent for like this new chess piece, for example. That's pretty crazy. Any of the stuff on these balancing sheets, was there any last minute changes that surprised you? Any and everything you got, leave it down below. I'd be very curious to hear it. I will be going live tomorrow, and if you didn't hear on the dev stream recap, I do have codes to give away for a new bundle that is going to be in the store, so feel free to tune into the stream for a chance to claim that. There are details over on the community tab if you want to check that out. But that is just about going to do it for me today, folks. I will see you very soon in Year 6 Season 2, but until then, RogueGold out.